At the end of the review for Far Cry 5, this reviewer said this:
"Here, though, is a reflection of what they have achieved. Even if the new systems in Far Cry New Dawn don't work as well, and also knowing that Hope County may not have completely changed, I will most definitely be getting the sequel, because of the story." Now honestly, how many FPS games have you ever said that about?
Far Cry 5 is an extremely well-crafted open-world first-person shooter game that has one of the best implementations of story in an FPS that this reviewer has experienced. Not only does the story have something poignant to say about religious fanaticism, but it has an excellent main antagonist, the psychotic leader known as Father, who is supported by 3 well-developed and distinctive additional antagonists that strengthen the role of Father in the overall story arc. The game also ends on one hell of a twist, an ending that points towards a possible sequel, but could also just be left as an open ending for the player to muse about. Far Cry New Dawn should have made this reviewer feel like this. Alright. But instead, it has made this reviewer feel like this. What the? Far Cry New Dawn sets up the stage extremely well. Many reviewers and commentators have stated that it is a reskin of Far Cry 5, but this isn't actually correct. The original area of Hope County, although slightly reduced in total area than before, has been completely resculpted, offering players familiar with Far Cry 5 plenty of "oh wow, look at this" moments as they stumble across areas that they might have remembered, only to see how drastically they have changed. The use of bright and vivid colours within the landscape works really well, and it makes sense in the context of an area left for many years. Hope County feels, looks and is a completely new area to re-explore, liberally populated with different locations that provide a variety of different types of adventures. The soundtrack, created by John Swihart and Tyler Bates, is on equal footing to the soundtrack to Far Cry 5, a brilliant synth-based, spirited and atmospheric collage of themes that bolster the new identity of Hope County. So there is nothing wrong with the setting at all. Ubisoft once again proved that when it comes to environmental world building, they are easily amongst the best. Unfortunately though, there are some serious issues with the rest of the experience that completely overshadow the environmental design work. Whereas in Far Cry 5, as you progressed and explored and gathered more resources, you were able to continue to craft better and better weapons to help you on your journey. In Far Cry New Dawn, the ability to craft better weapons is tied to the expansion of a base camp. Initially this seems like a great idea. You collect resources to level up the camp and the camp provides you with additional skills and abilities. This rapidly falls apart when you discover that there are certain resources that are so rare to get hold of that even when you unlock the ability to craft better weaponry, you most probably won't be able to do it. even after taking the time to explore and spend time collecting resources rather than follow the main story or side quests. Since this reviewer was driven to follow the story, the new expeditions option from the base camp wasn't explored, and whether or not this gave rare resources or not isn't something that can be confirmed. Having said this reviewer did explore almost all of Hope County and still didn't have some of the resources required. All of the exploration resulted in the ability to craft only one level 3 out of 4 possible levels submachine gun. Yet even this paled into insignificance against the absolutely dismal ending of the game and the exasperating wasted opportunity here. The story suffers from having a 4 antagonist structure. Out of the 4, one of them is never fully realised as a threat, and 2 are driving the story in a completely different direction, which is completely at odds with Father, the main protagonist from Far Cry 5, who seems to have been castrated since the last game. There is no explanation as to how he got from the ending of the last game to where he is now, and even more baffling is that there is no mention at all of the player's character from the last game that was really integral to the whole story. It's as if they never existed. This is then coupled with a series of what can only be described as the most amateurish and badly designed boss battles this reviewer has probably ever encountered. Quite honestly, they felt as if they had been designed by college graduates who had only just begun their experience of designing games, like college-level projects. Fine for learning the ropes, but inexcusable as something to be included in a commercial game. This situation was only made worse by the inability to craft decent weapons, as was stated above. At the conclusion of the story, and after having experienced such dismal instances of gameplay ideas, this reviewer went from hoping to feel like this to actually feeling like this. For the first time since this channel began, this reviewer cannot recommend Far Cry New Dawn as a game to play. If you have played Far Cry 5 and are wondering whether or not you should play this game, the advice is to leave it be. An absolute disappointment.